What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with Paulo Costa opens up on failed negotiations with UFC for Robert Whittaker fight. The fight that almost was. Robert Whittaker versus Paulo Costa, it's been a hot topic over the last few days. Although the two were supposed to clash at UFC 284 in Perth, Paulo Costa said late last month that he had not signed a contract to fight the former champion. As he explained at the time, he wanted to fight Whittaker and was excited about the matchup, but he had never received a contract from the UFC. He went on to reference how the promotion has a reputation for announcing fights before the bout is finalized, in an attempt to pressure fighters to accept the fight. Fast forward to this week, and the fight was officially scrapped after negotiations between the UFC and Paulo Costa stalled. As he explained on a recent episode of the MMA Hour, he wanted to renegotiate his contract for the upcoming fight with Whittaker, not negotiate an entirely new multi-fight deal. The UFC then came back and offered him a 6-fight deal, something he wanted no part of. Given that he's anxiously awaiting to finish up his multi-fight deal from 2017, signing a long-term contract with the UFC is not something he's interested in right now. The way the former title challenger sees things, the UFC is trying to lowball its Brazilian fighters because, as he sees it, they just want to fight.
I think they just actually offer a very low numbers for Brazilians. I don't know what they figure. Maybe they figure, that motherfuckers live in Brazil, in the jungle. They don't need a real money because the currency is like 5 times less than dollars. So let's pay bull.
Although Costa will fight out the last fight of his contract if he has to, he and his team believe that a sunset clause could see him as a free agent come March. If he does wind up parting ways with the UFC, where do you see Paulo Costa going? Give us your predictions in the comments section below. Sean O'Malley wants to know why Cejudo versus Sterling fight has not been finalized. Although both Henry Cejudo's manager, Ali Abdelaziz, and Aljamain Sterling have both stated that a fight between Cejudo and Sterling will be on tap for next year, there's been no official word from the UFC on the matter. After Abdelaziz announced that Cejudo would be up next for the Funkmaster, the champion responded by mysteriously saying that although the fight was done, pen has not been put to paper to finalize it. Since then, there's been little movement on the fight, leaving #1 contender Sean O'Malley wondering about his place in the title mix. During a recent episode of his Timbo Sugar Show podcast, he opened up on the situation, explaining that he doesn't think money is what's causing the holdup, or otherwise, the promotion would offer him the fight against Sterling instead.
Is it a weight thing? Is it like, fuck? Is it an injury lingering? Is it, what is it? I gotta get to the bottom of this. I'm hiring a private investigator to follow them both around. Seriously.
Sterling had stated following his dominant victory over TJ Dillashaw at UFC 280 that he planned to take some time off before returning to the octagon. Despite the fight with Dillashaw being an incredibly lopsided one that saw him take little damage, the champion wanted to take some time off to enjoy himself. At the time, he targeted summer for a return, specifically in June. With the target 6 months off, it would certainly explain why the UFC has not formalized a fight yet. At the same time, however, O'Malley has been torn on whether he should sit out and wait for a crack at the belt or if he should return to action and chase another win. So far, he's been leaning towards waiting for Cejudo versus Sterling to play out. However, that could change in the future. If the fight between Triple C and the Funkmaster is made official for next year, who do you think emerges victorious? Give us your thoughts in the comment section below. Conor McGregor praises Leon Edwards' KO of Kamaru Usman. This year has provided fight fans with some incredible moments inside the cage. From incredible finishes like Leon Edwards' knockout over Kamaru Usman and Jiri Prochazka's late submission win over Glover Teixeira to the incredible 3-round Burns vs. Chimaev fight, this year has, without question, been a year to remember. With the year coming to an end, however, many have been looking back at some of the best moments inside the octagon for 2022. Conor McGregor has been doing the same exact thing. The former 2-division UFC champion took a break from engaging in online Twitter feuds to sing Leon Edwards' praises for his 5th-round knockout victory over Kamaru Usman after the win was labeled the comeback of the year by the UFC Europe Twitter account. Stop the nonsense, comeback of the year. This is everything of the year, bar none. The timing of commentary, the timing of the fight, the shot itself, the KO, the ramifications, the post-speech, pound-for-pound headshot, dead. This lives on. In addition to McGregor and Edwards both being managed by Paradigm Sports, the former 2-division champion also has a long-standing rivalry with Kamaru Usman's close friend and manager, Ali Abdelaziz. Given that, fans have suspected that his praise of Edwards may have also been a subtle attempt to press the metaphorical buttons of Ali Abdelaziz. So far, there's been no official word yet from the UFC on when the potential trilogy fight between Usman and Edwards will take place, although the expectation is that the promotion will look to book this fight for the UFC 286 fight card in London, England. If the fight is made official, do you think Edwards will be able to prove the last fight was not a fluke, or will Usman return to form and reclaim his place atop the 170-pound division? Give us your predictions in the comment section below. Before we continue, make sure you give that like button some love, and be sure to subscribe to the MMA Zone for all of the latest news. Charles Oliveira gives Makhachev vs Volkanovski prediction. With UFC 284's lightweight clash between Islam Makhachev and Alexander Volkanovski rapidly approaching in early February, the MMA community has continued to weigh in with their predictions for the highly anticipated fight card. On the one hand, Makhachev's dominance over Charles Oliveira completely put the division on notice. On the other hand, however, the pound-for-pound king has been on an absolute tear of the featherweight division. And without cutting weight, many have predicted that he will look even more dangerous at 155 pounds. Despite that, with less than 2 months to go until the fight, the odds have Volkanovski being a plus 250 underdog to Makhachev's negative 310 favorite status. The way former champion Charles Oliveira sees things, it all comes down to whether or not Volkanovski can keep the fight standing in order to use his footwork, his speed, and his power to overwhelm the champion. He spoke during a recent interview saying, "If Islam is able to close the distance and take him down, there's nothing much left to do. But Volkanovski has great takedown defense and strong hands. If he's able to move and control the distance, he may surprise Islam. It'll be a question of who will implement his game plan better." Oliveira's coach also recently revealed news about the former champion's return. According to him, the Bronx is currently eyeing a March return to the octagon, although Oliveira's team wants to see him get an immediate crack at the winner of Makhachev vs Volkanovski. Head coach Diego Lima also revealed that a fight with Beneil Dariush or Dustin Poirier would be suitable matchups for the former champ. Who do you think wins the lightweight title when Makhachev and Volkanovski square off next year? Give us your thoughts in the comments below. And now for our breaking news story of the day. Douglas Crosby opens up on recent controversial scorecards. Judge Douglas Crosby has been in the hot seat as of late. Earlier this month, he sat cage side for Bellator 289's main event scrap between Raufeon Stots and Danny Sabatello, where he was the only judge who scored the fight in Sabatello's favor. To make matters worse, he scored every single round for the Italian gangster, earning him widespread criticism from everyone, including UFC bantamweight champion Aljamain Sterling. The very next night, Crosby had flown across the country to judge UFC 282's Paddy Pimblett vs Jared Gordon fight. There, he once again drew criticism as he scored the fight for the baddie, who won via unanimous decision despite viewers scoring the fight 29-28 in Gordon's favor on verdict. After Crosby's connection to the pair of controversial decisions, ABC president Mike Mazzulli revealed that he was going to be sitting down with the three judges to review the scoring of the Bellator 289 showdown between Stots and Sabatello. Although rules and regulations prevent Crosby from commenting on the specifics of any fight publicly, he appeared on Chael Sonnen's You're Welcome podcast to discuss the evolution of scoring criteria in recent years, specifically the 2017 overhaul of the judging criteria that places an emphasis on offense and damage.
And if effective grappling is considered the equal of effective striking, and then you look at any of my scores through that newly ground mental lens, the scores may become easier to understand. But that has to do with reading and understanding the criteria. And I'm not sure, I don't know who does that and who doesn't.
Although the scoring for the Stots vs Sabatello fight was much more controversial, has your opinion on the scoring in the Paddy vs Jared Gordon fight changed after a rewatch? Give us your breakdown of the situation in the comments below. Today's video was packed with some juicy stories from the fight world. What are your thoughts about what's going on in MMA? Don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to the MMA Zone to see more videos just like this. See you next time.